Hello, hello, and welcome to FourWheelTech, powered by ohmtown.com. We talk about, well, technology and vehicles. It's kind of in the name. Today is April 28th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 6. Today we're going to be talking about the Kia Tasman, McLaren's F1 vehicle adjacent, driving by wrench, BMW Birth Certificate, DUI without a drink, the 2025 Lamborghini PHEV, controversial cars, slowest selling cars, the emotion of driving and thinking of EV charging wrong. We'll talk about a bunch of stuff here, so hopefully you'll enjoy the ride. See you on the other side of this. So once again, hello, I am Mayor Watt, and up there and, well, all around ohmTown is the sentient AI from the future.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens. Welcome to FourWheelTech.
Oh, the song just ended. So yeah,
Very
we've got
dramatic.
Yeah, very. It was really good timing though, because it went dun 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 right after you said something. So we've got all of the articles already on deck. Something that I saw right before the show started was this Nevs Emily GT, designed by ex-Saab engineers. The car looks deceptively sexy. I'll say it right off the top.
We might have to put it in for next week's show.
Yeah, so we're going to have to talk about it. See, the music just stopped again. I didn't even do anything. Okay, whatever. So we're going to talk about that probably next week. We'll see though. But let's get into today's articles. The new Kia Tasman will be the weirdest looking pickup truck, and that's a good thing. And a few months ago, Jalopnik shared spy photos of the new Kia Tasman, the brand's first pickup truck. Designed primarily for Australia, it's obvious. Africa and the Middle East to do battle with trucks like the Ford Ranger and Toyota Hilux. The mid-size body on frame Tasman is rapidly approaching its debut, and Kia just released like first pictures. Okay. Yeah, okay, I'll just let it go. Because I wanted to say something, but it's going to be out of context until I know more about this vehicle. Daniel Golson over at jalopnik.com put the article together. It says this midsize Ranger fighting body-on-frame truck might be sold in the U.S. This thing it's an extended cab truck, but it says mid-sized. It looks a lot bigger than mid-sized.
It also looks larger than what you might expect from Kia.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is its first truck. And it has the really weird aesthetic to it that I wouldn't expect from Kia. It has these like bulbous solid. This has to be just like a demonstrator, not like the way that it's going to show up. But these fender flares are going to be there, and it looks like they're just kind of. This looks fake. All of this looks fake. It looks computer
So
generated.
it's a photo, though.
Yeah, the whole thing looks fake, doesn't it?
It does.
Like haphazardly CG. Because this doesn't look like it's actually attached. This looks like it's just been kind of superimposed on where the fender flare would be. And the Kia doesn't look like it's actually on it.
No,
Just
it
everything
doesn't.
looks wonky about it. Maybe that's what's throwing me for a loop when I'm looking at this thing. Well, Ford Ranger came back from the graveyard. It's actually in production again, but it was gone for a while. And it's the lighter version. So it's a smaller truck than the F-150, because the F-150 has gotten dramatically larger, even from its predecessors versions, from the 80s, 90s, that now it's like twice as big, maybe 300% bigger. I mean, it's massive compared to its predecessors. So if Kia is going to jump into this and try and go after the Ford Ranger and Toyota Hilux area, then I suppose that's what this thing is going to be, that size, which is going to be dramatically smaller than the F-150. It says it has a super blocky, upright proportions with a blunt face that reminds them of a hippo. Small headlight pods are pushed to the corners, way out here on the edge, which I hope that they stick out far enough to provide lighting across the face, because I don't know if that would actually be cleared for dot here in the United
I
States.
don't think it would be.
The headlights flow into black plastic boxed fender flares that look pretty cool, according to the author, and the Tasman has chunky all-terrain tires, which really is meh. And it's neither here nor there, depending on who the owner of the vehicle is, if they want all-terrain versus something road specific to get better gas mileage. But you're in a truck. This truck really does look oddball, though. Major extended cab. So you're going to have a stubby 4-foot bed. You're not going to be able to carry sheet goods on there flat. It's not based on my experience with trucks. Go
I
ahead.
mean, I guess it's like, what's the average use in the three locations that they're targeting?
Right.
In the US, I don't think that's average use, but
Previous reports said that the Tasman will get a turbo diesel 2.2-liter engine with an automatic or manual, and it could get Kia's twin turbo 3.3-liter V6 too. The other one's a V4, I suppose. This is what Kia's press release had to say about the Tasman's positioning. Through this theme, the Kia Tasman will lead people towards unknown and beautiful landscapes, in addition to the effortlessly fulfilling the role of work-oriented pickup. The Tasman is designed to meet customers' diverse personal needs, suitable for a demanding 24/7 lifestyle. Kia's versatile truck will support even the most extreme leisure activities.
okay, but it doesn't look like it'll fit something like a kayak in the bed of the truck.
Yeah, they don't really come jumping out saying that the bed is, 8 feet long with a 4 foot width, so that you can lay your uh, drywall flat or plywood flat. If this is anything, I mean, it's better than a Cybertruck, I suppose. Too
That is
soon.
true. And I have to commend Kia for doing something different and unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they, like a lot of companies that expand their operations, maybe they see an opening and the others aren't doing it right. But this thing is, honestly, it looks kind of oddball in that this really extended bed or interior cockpit area, the cab is just, it looks like it's 60% of the vehicle is from the back of the cab to the bumper, is nothing but technically unusable for its utilitarian purpose. You're going to be driving somebody somewhere, basically. That's all this is. Anyway, good on Kia. Keep going, form competition, kick people's ass. That's fine with me. Let's keep going, though. This next article is over in FourWheelTech as well. McLaren's new F1 inspired Halo to cost $2 million-ish and arrives in 2026. This is not your normal car. This is a track car. The British marque plans to build fewer than 400 examples of the 1,000 horsepower track monster. There isn't really an article for me to talk about because it's behind a paywall that I didn't log into. Urkvach Karkaria is that, which they're living up their name. Karkaria. It's a car. Karkaria. Anyway,
Look at the wing on this car.
yeah, exactly. Automotivenews.com is where this is sourced from, but it's behind a paywall and I didn't log in. But I really just wanted everybody to see this car. 1,000 horsepower plus. Look how shiny, how pretty. I think this is one of those cars where you sit in the center of it, and
Oh,
that's where
like
you
with a
drive it.
harness or something. I like the paint job on this one that's shown.
Yeah, it looks like you want to take a bite out of it, right? It's a shiny candy. Um, but yeah, I think the cockpit is right in the center, and then you can have two passengers on either side of you, but you sit in the center of it, I think. But I don't know. Um, yeah, that's all I'm going to be able to say about this thing again because it's behind this little paywall, and I should have logged in, but I didn't. I knew what I was getting into when I picked it.
So are you going to be adding that to your wish list with that price tag?
Yeah, it's over in the wanted show. I don't understand. I mean, this is track stuff, and so unless it's for engineering purposes, I don't understand the appeal of having a car like this because it's not like
Unless you're somebody that's going to sponsor a racing team or something.
yeah. Yeah, I mean this really should be for a track and you're driving home messaging or you're doing engineering scientific work trying to better the fuel economy or power per square inch or whatever cubic inch. What are they? No, anyway, let's keep going though. This next article is over in FourWheelTech. Wrenching gone wrong. Driver ticketed for swapping steering wheel for vice grips. The article comes from Jalopnik as well. They say here at Jalopnik, they love a good automotive hack or bodge that keep you on the road longer. Maybe you found a sneaky way to make your tires last for more miles or a neat way of maximizing your trunk space. Whatever hack you've uncovered, they hope that it was a bit less janky than this driver who was caught using a wrench as a steering wheel. Owen Bellwood over at jalopnik.com put the article together. This photo has nothing to do with it. The deck statement says a driver in Canada was told to take their car for a safety inspection after police found a wrench in place of its steering wheel.
I wonder
And
what happened to the steering wheel.
I've actually seen, they're typically called rat rods, but I have seen a rat rod being driven with a wrench before, but it's stylistic. I don't know if this was. Officers in Shellbrook, Saskatchewan pulled over a driver last week only to find they were driving their car with a wrench strapped to the steering column rather than a wheel. Please have a picture. The driver was pulled over on April 17th by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, who ticketed the man behind the wheel. Around 1:30 p.m. on April 17th, the traffic services officer pulled over the suspect on Range Road 3063, which, my God, if that's the name of the road, just let the
It
person
must be
be.
out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's the type of road that you drive around with a wrench as a steering wheel. According to the RCMP news release, during the stop, officers saw the vehicle had no steering wheel and the driver was using vice grips to guide the vehicle. Police say the driver also had no license. So they were told to go get their vehicle inspected, but they didn't have a driver's license.
That almost makes me think it wasn't that person's vehicle. But
Yeah, really. As well as a ticket for driving without a license, the man behind the wrench was also told to take their vehicle for an inspection. The author says, I assume so
don't
that the
drive it.
experts. Yeah, the experts could decide, yes, we confirm they do not have a steering wheel. That's hilarious. What a crack up. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just leave it alone. We can make today's show a little shorter. This next article is over in FourWheelTech. BMW Classic will give your beloved car or bike a birth certificate. If you're as car obsessed as most of Jalopnik is, this is where the article comes from, another article from Jalopnik. You likely call your car your baby, and BMW Classic will now validate your baby with a birth certificate. Well, really, it's just a digital version of the record of the vehicle's delivery status and first buyer rather than a certificate of authenticity. But
I bet this would be a hit, though, among BMW drivers.
you can do that with any car, really, huh? You know,
Yeah, but they're those smart ones to offer this up.
first movers. Yeah. So, well, really, it's just a digital version. To apply for the digital birth certificate, you must have proof of ownership and photos of the chassis and engine numbers, which you can submit using the order form available via the link. It's available. So follow the link through ohmTown over to Jalopnik, and Jalopnik, right there is the link that'll take you over to the BMW form. The new digital certificate replaces the physical vehicle certificate that BMW Classic used to offer to owners, though the new birth certificate won't be able to publicly display your car's authenticity at car shows. BMW says this new protocol will make certifying vehicles easier, and you could obviously print it out yourself. The birth certificate contains the same information that the old vehicle certificate documented, including chassis and engine numbers and production and delivery dates. So dun dun dun. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Yeah, and you can print it out.
Okay, that's pretty neat.
It's neat. It's 133 bucks at current exchange rates.
Oh, wow.
The classic certificates used to cost $90, so
Now
take
you pay
that.
more and have to print it.
Yeah, it's the what do they call that? A delivery fee and benefit of
Except you're
owning it.
doing the own delivery.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. Ticketmaster, take note. Let's keep going. The next article is over at FourWheelTech as well, cited for DUI at 4 times the legal limit, but he hadn't drunk a drop. So I don't know if they make the distinction anywhere else, but DUI is driving under the influence, and DWI is a different one, driving while intoxicated.
I think it might depend on the location.
Yeah. So a medical condition can cause the human body to brew its own alcohol. Stephen Williams over at autoblog.com put the article together. I have heard of this already before, and then when it was aggregated into ohmTown, I'm like, whoa, I haven't heard of this in a long time. But this isn't the first time that I've actually heard of somebody that their biology actually synthesizes alcohol from what they consume. Says it's an odd case, though actually ABS, or auto brewery syndrome, as it's known, is not particularly rare, and it's worth explaining as it was recently in the New York Times. As told, the brewery worker in Belgium, who asked not to be identified, was stopped by authorities who suspected that he was driving under the influence. Police administered a breathalyzer test, which found that his blood alcohol level was 4 times the legal limit. So technically, he would have been blackout drunk. The reason was not
Well,
that he'd
that's
been.
interesting because even if it's not through drinking alcohol, doesn't it have the same effects?
Um, as far as I understand it, no. The process begets all the normal effects of inebriation, lack of coordination, memory loss, aggressive behavior without the alcohol consumption, the story said. Um, so for them, it doesn't get them drunk, um, as far as I understand it, but I don't know how that actually works. The breathalyzer doesn't see. I'm not quite sure what the context of it is because a breathalyzer doesn't pick up alcohol. It's the metabolite of metabolized alcohol. So they may not actually metabolize alcohol, but I'm not sure. They say, I think he was somehow relieved that he finally knew what was up, said the man's lawyer. The most recent incident marked the 3rd time he'd been cited for DUI. Subsequent tests by 3 doctors confirmed that he had the condition and validated his claim in court, and he was acquitted. Yeah.
That must be an odd thing to possess.
Yeah, so I'm really curious now because I never, in the other case that I read about this is a new one to me, but in the other case, I don't remember if the person was actually intoxicated by this, but I had heard of ABS before. I think it's interesting that it's called ABS and they were in a car. So, because it's a braking system, automated braking.
Yeah, it's a weird term.
So,
Probably confusing when you write ABS near anything related to cars.
and I wonder if a spider that was drunk in the brewery that he works at bit him, and his superpower is auto brewery syndrome because he is a brewery worker in Belgium.
Well, you never know.
So he's
And
brewery
hence a
man.
supervillain is created.
Yeah, brewery man. Dun dun dun. It's definitely a DC superhero. Let's keep going. The next article is over at FourWheelTech. 2025 Lamborghini Urus, or Urus. SE gets 788 horsepower PHEV system. Let's go and look at it. It also features an updated design. Ronan Glon over at Autoblog put the article together.
Oh,
This
it's
is
a
a
hybrid.
Yep, there you go. And it has 800 horsepower, and it's probably something like $150,000. But let's see. I want to look at the pictures for a little bit. Look at that. Ooh, that's fexy. All right. So let's see. The Urus SE isn't the first plug-in hybrid member of the Lamborghini range. The 1,001 horsepower Revuelto, Revelto. Sorry, Lamborghini. Claim the spot. However, the importance shouldn't be understated. The Urus is Bear, I think it is the best-selling Lamborghini by a significant margin. The same approach to design that shaped the Revelto permeated the Urus. The Italian brand stresses the electrification is a way to offer enthusiasts more performance. So it says
It's a wild ox, even though it does sound like bear.
oh, wow. Wild ox. Okay. I was way off. So there's still a V8 at the core of the system. It's re-engineered version of the familiar 4.0 liter twin turbocharged 8 that has powered the Urus since its inception, and it developed 611 horsepower. I want to see what the price is of this thing because it's a well-known vehicle already. Details such as pricing and availability will be announced at a later date. But yeah, I mean
That's so
they're
they get everybody excited about it before they scare everybody with price
the
tag.
actual price. Yeah. So what is the range that it gets? It doesn't say, right? They just
I
talk
don't
about
think
it.
it was covered. It was talking about the speed and everything.
Yeah. I don't see
37
range.
miles of electric only range, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty typical. Like electric only, it's got a weak battery, a gas engine, and the battery work together. Um, Depending on what it is, if it is hybrid, there are different types of hybrids where it's always electric and gas simultaneous. And so the electric is used to off the start so that you don't have to worry about ramping up power. And it makes it more efficient for the gas engine to not have to put so much torque because electric motors are instant on and instant go versus having to spool up torque to move using internal combustion engine. Anyway, it looks great, but I don't know how much this thing is going to cost. Let's keep going though. Um, what is the term for bear? Now I'm confused. The next article is over on the Mobile Channel. 10 of the most controversial cars right now. Not everyone likes the same thing. Some of us are chocolate fans, while others are perfectly happy with vanilla. Cars are the same way, but some generate an unreasonably strong response deep in the cockles of an enthusiast's heart. The authors here over at Quartz ask you, what is the most controversial cars on the market today? And do you deliver? They always have a slideshow, so I'm going to mash the button and look at the slides. And they say, wow.
Okay. By the way, bear or so.
Or so. Thank you. I was just a little off. So let's see. Lipstick on a naked mole rat. What? Oh, BMW XM. That's just poor coloring, you know?
Yeah, but that might be like how they're all provided.
Good God. Let's see. You ain't first, you're last. As in the last one that people are going to get. I don't know. A lot of people are buying them. I think they're dumb. You can't even put a bicycle in the back. This person says they're not a Dodge Charger fan. I actually like the Dodge Charger. They make an all-wheel drive one. I wish they'd make a hybrid one. Uh, GMC, the Hummer EV. You don't need 10,000-pound tanks hitting 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds. This must be the electric. Yeah, the EV.
I mean, but look how much gas it's not guzzling.
Well, it's using a lot of power. That sled is gonna that battery sled is gonna cost a lot in terms of juice. Why is this? Why did it pause again? I don't understand. No, I cannot stay focused. AI. Full of hot air. This is let's see here, a Toyota Mirai. This is one of those big cars. When you look at it, it looks like it's just like it has a long hood, but this is deceptive. This thing is actually like a tuna boat. Um, and come on, come on, come on. Oh my God. And then the Rubicon. That ain't crossing that Rubicon. $92,000 Rubicon
Oh,
392.
wow.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right, I'll let you all look at the rest of the slides. We are gonna truck on to the next article. This next article is over at FourWheelTech as well. These are the slowest selling new cars of 2024. It's over at Autoblog. Chris Teague is the author. Deck statement says it might be time for alarm bells at Lincoln, says I see cars, which I suppose is their version of I see dead people, that, the Sixth
Oh,
Sense,
yeah.
I see cars. So the slowest selling cars of 2024 are the Lincoln. It takes 82.6 days to sell. Oh my God, almost 3 months to sell one. Infiniti 80, a Buick, but these are brand names, not specific cars, right?
Yeah, I
So,
thought they were going to be models, but it's still interesting because these are pretty long periods of time.
yep. Buick almost 80 days, Audi 75 days, Ram 70 days. I, I hardly ever see Ram trucks. That's weird. Ford 68? Really? I mean, the F 150 is the fastest selling, not fastest selling, it's the most selling truck.
But it must be all the other models dragging it down.
Yeah, must be. Then there's Dodge at 67, GMC at 66. These are all truck. Like the main thing here is like truck manufacturers. GMC, another, truck,
Well, that
and
tracks with what we're seeing, right?
yeah, everybody is
They keep
tired
making
of.
like bigger stuff and nobody wants that as a consumer.
Yep, yep, right there. This is the key. This is the leading indicator, man. The simple fact that people are taking forever to take one off the shelf. And Lexus, but Lexus isn't really big. I mean, but they are
No,
a
but
luxury
here's the
brand.
other interesting thing. There's like trucks and there's kind of luxury
Yep,
brands in here.
yep. IC Cars executive analyst Carl Brower noted that the fastest selling brands, which include Toyota, Alfa Romeo, and Cadillac, likely more inventory because they resonate with buyers' desire for value and the compelling product. The This has actually been reported through various sources that we aggregate into ohmTown, that people are tired of these big ass trucks. Yet that's what industry keeps punching out because they think, what? I don't know. I don't get it.
Well, I think they can keep charging more and right, because if you build a bigger vehicle, the price is probably going to go up, but people don't have the money to spend on it. They don't have the money to spend on the gas or new batteries if it's EV.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Lincoln, it also made the slow selling used list between Maserati and the slowest Alfa Romeo in third. Wow, that's pretty bad. And IC
Yeah,
Cars analysis examined EV and hybrid sales and found that hybrids tend to sell much faster than their electric counterparts, which speaks volumes to Megawatt and the sentient AI, because we've been saying that people aren't interested in all electrics if there is a equally compelling solution as a hybrid. There haven't been really sexy hybrids.
There aren't a lot of hybrids out there. It seems like a lot of the manufacturers shifted the focus to EVs, but the consumers don't really want those
Yeah, they
and
went
they're too
iced.
expensive.
Yeah, and there's the other element there. Plus, if you are an enthusiast, you want to go electric, but you don't want range anxiety and all of the bullshit with charging. So you want something that has the guts of an electric vehicle, sans the ICE limitation of always having to get gas and the limited range even on either side of you. You want that 60 mile per gallon run time of a hybrid, but they're always gutless wonders until you get into $85,000 price range. For crying out loud, we need something at the 45, 50,000, 35, $38,000 range, if not lower, that still has guts, you know? Give us 250, 275 horsepower and still be hybrid. And, you know, Mayor Watt would be happy with that. But I don't drive fast, I fly low. I need speed. Just kidding, insurance company. I'm a very responsible adult. You want to keep going?
Sure.
The next article is over in Hometown Daily. Hyundai aims to capture the emotion of driving in electric vehicles. Really should be focusing it on, you know, hybrids. The next article is over in Newsweek. Hyundai aims to capture the emotion of driving an electric vehicle. Eileen Falkenberg Hull is the author of this article. The smell of gasoline at the pump, the rumble you feel sitting on a bench seat when a V8 shoots a car ahead from the stop line. Okay. Anyway, when you
It's
smash on the
oddly worded,
gas,
but we
yeah,
get it. Right.
yeah. Those of us who have been in V8s know what it's like when a V8 gets its gas stomped on and you get pressed into your seat. The less than perfect throttle response on uphills. Yes, you have to build up torque to get up those hills. Times are changing and those senses are fleeting. EVs, though quick, are the opposite of traditional sports cars. They lack the steering feel and visceral rumble of power. I don't know about that first one. Rumble of power, yes, but it's a different kind of demonstration of power. You stick to your seat when an EV with actual horsepower starts off the accelerator. Modern sporty EVs come loaded with technology and cushioning where most sports cars are barer bones than a traditional sedan or coupe. Here in the States, it's coupe, but I'm trying to attract to a broader audience. Lacking many of the creature comforts the average driver has grown accustomed to. They're also heavy, sometimes thousands of pounds heavier than sports cars of similar sizes. Yes, companies like Tesla and Kia have been using equipment and algorithms to make their zippy EVs more engaging and track ready. Rear-wheel drive 2025 Porsche Taycan. Base model. This is a picture parked outside of Seville, Spain. Oh, how rough.
Yeah.
Um, I've actually seen these at a doctor's office, parked, just sitting there, you know, and you're like, but but this is a track car. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, and it was the EV one,
Doctor's practice must be doing really well.
really well. Yeah, um, it says hundreds of thousands of dollars. So yeah, it was this car. So pretty amazing. Hyundai is attempting to find the sweet spot between sportiness, design, affordability, and electric power, and believes that it's done so with the Ioniq 5N, which is one that we've talked about previously. This is not a cheap car, though. Hyundai has been on the tear for the last few years, both in terms of product execution and sales performance of its overall lineup. It's a sexy car, by the way, the Ioniq series. Dunk. So let's see. Maybe they're going to talk about it. Yeah, you can put it in drift mode. I don't remember what the price was. Let's see if they have
For
it
the
down here.
Ionic, I think it
Ioniq
was like
5N.
$80,000.
Yeah, the 5N. Yeah. You can dial in torque distribution. You can put it in drift mode. 320 horsepower. There you go. So that's the standard Ioniq 5. Gives access
Okay,
up
the
to 320.
base price is 66K.
Yeah, the Ioniq 5N delivers 641. So twice the power of the base Ioniq 5. 320 horsepower for um, a like a straight off the uh, sales floor kind of car is not bad for that price point. 5N 641, you're talking about a performance vehicle, but I bet you it can only go about 30 miles. Give me a hybrid of this and I'll be happy.
Exactly, and lower the price.
And just a little bit. Yep. I mean, they got to make their money. The full package of equipment, technology, and design come together for a reasonable starting price of $66,100, far below the cost of most new electric vehicles on the market today, let alone performance models. Yeah, this is the performance model at 66.
But
So,
still priced above what most people want to pay for a
yep,
car.
yep, yep. About $30,000 priced above what most people. So you're going to end up getting the Ioniq 5, not the 5N, and you'll just be lacking a lot of the, muscle. But it's an electric vehicle. It's all wrong-headed thinking about electric vehicles. We got to, kind of wean ourselves away off of the uh, gas. Okay, so let's go on to our last, and this is actually my point. So this article is talking about we might be thinking of EV charging all wrong. In some sense, it's easier than ever to switch to an electric car. There are great options to choose from, whether you're buying from a classic car maker or a company that is it's exclusive electric like Rivian or Tesla. But from another angle, even if the options have improved, availability and more importantly, price haven't. You still have to wait for weeks or months to get the car, and you're most likely not going to get it for under $30,000 without tax credits or even with tax credits. I don't know what this article is actually talking
How
about.
about under 60,000?
Yeah, no doubt. So I think the cheapest is the Tesla Model 3, and I think its starting is like 35,000, and then you get tax credits that drop it. But it's all electric. It doesn't have an extraordinary range, and it's Tesla.
Right, I was going to say, what's the cheapest non-Tesla EV?
Yeah, 60,000. So, no, it's the Ioniq 5, I'd say. And I think that's somewhere around, I think it's 38 or something like that thousand. I have to look again. So thinking of EVs differently than gas cars could make charging easier, prices cheaper, and infrastructure more friendly. Thinking of EVs differently than gas cars, well, they are. So Ian Carlos Campbell put this article together.
Ioniq 5 start is expected to start at 44K.
The 5?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting. I thought it was lower than that.
I don't know.
So, larger psychological barriers remain too. Range anxiety is the number one thing that they talk about in this. This is really hilarious because there is no overcoming range anxiety except extending range, and you can't do that without a bigger battery. The battery still loses 2%, up to 2% every year that it's in operation. Yeah, it's going to suck in 10 years.
And oh, by the way, your battery might be completely giving out by then.
Yeah, and on top of that, if you want to not have a problem with, I don't know, living your life outside of a charging port, you're going to only be able to charge your vehicle to 80%, which is already, after 10 years, it's reduced by 10% or 20%, 25%. So you're never getting 80% of your vehicle. You're never getting 100% of your vehicle. After the first year, it's always below 100%, even of the 80 that you're supposed to charge to. It's ridiculous. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not a good situation.
Yep. Mental Models Guide Electric Vehicle Charging, a new article by Francis Spray and Willett Kempton, published in the journal Energy, and available now in open access, suggests that the mental models many of us apply to charging are so caught up in our understanding of liquid fuel cars that they keep us from adapting to the conveniences of EVs. This is the framing that I come from. What they're saying is right, but we're not caught up. We know the efficiencies of fueling a car. Why not force the industry to make a car? If it's not ready for prime time, then push us into hybrids so that we can at least encourage the economic shift from ICE to hybrid to electric. You know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we used to ride just horses. Then we attached wagons to them. Then we said, oh, look, we've built a steam engine. Oh, look, now we have internal combustion engines. It wasn't just straight from, hey, there's a horse, and suddenly we have a Rimac supercar, gunning down the Wild West. We are not ready for pure electric. We don't have the infrastructure anywhere for it. Anyway, we think about charging wrong, is what they're saying. And it only makes owning an EV more difficult. It could be leading EVs and the infrastructure that supports them in the wrong direction. Um, and so they want to talk about moving past liquid fuel. You're not going to do it overnight. The article talks about this again and again, I think. Both the monitor gauge and planning models can just as easily apply to gas cars as they do to electric cars, but the event triggered model is unique to EVs primarily because of how different the experience of fueling them is. As the article notes, Kempton was quick to remind the author over Zoom that the research participants had an understanding of how gas cars work, but a much looser grasp on the specifics of electric batteries and charging. Now, I can guarantee you they understood it. They have to sit around for anywhere from 30 to 2 hours, 30 minutes to 2 hours, waiting for it to hit 80%. Electric refilling is slow, but the user engaged process of connecting and starting the refill process is faster than petrol. No. No way.
Starting, maybe.
I mean, if the electric charging process doesn't involve a payment system, then yeah, because you just grab the charger, plug it in. It would be the exact same thing. Okay, I used to drive a commercial vehicle. I could go into the location where they had a filling station where I didn't have to worry about paying. All I did was walk up, fill it up, and because the commercial vehicle got filled from that central tank, it was part of their operations. That's akin to the electric refilling, where you just walk up, grab the plug it in, it talks to the car, it lets the know this is the car and blah blah blah, and everything is transactional automatically. Sure, if we had smart um, gas station pumps, then we could get away with that, and it would be frictionless. This is silly. On the right charging network, powering your EV is as simple as opening a charging port and plugging in a charger. The only problem is charging takes hours rather than minutes. Fast chargers exist, more are being installed, and EV battery capacity continues to grow. Yeah, like a sloth. But the reconciling the fundamental difference between refueling a gas car versus an EV one is a question of adopting a new way of thinking. So you're going to train. The idea here is marketing. Flip the script. You're not waiting for your car to recharge. You're saving the planet for 2 hours.
Right. It sounds like you're grocery shopping, but you happen to be charging at the same time. Of course, that works real well if there's actually chargers.
Yeah. The unconscious solution to the problem that both the experienced and novice EV owners share is tying plugging in to a specific event, be it taking your dog for a walk, coming home from work, or going to the grocery store, like the Sentient AI said. If you could turn charging into a habit rather than a response to external information on a gauge, range anxiety would go away. Yeah, because you have to plan around your range anxiety.
So you're basically charging all the time. And I had looked ahead. I didn't come up with this in advance of the article, but
Right.
I I don't know.
Yeah, this is basically trying to say obfuscate the source of your anxiety by walking your dog while your car is charging, but you don't have that type of uh again, what's that ice cream shop in New York? The
Serendipity.
serendipity. You don't have that serendipity where your dog wants to go for a walk at the same time that you happen to pull into your driveway so that you can charge your car. Where's your dog when you're at work and you have to charge your car to get home? Oh, all of the charging ports were taken, so your car is on 50% already, and you're going to make it 30% of the way home. Yeah, there's a lot of silliness in this. I almost want to just say, y'all go and read this and then come and talk to me and tell me if it makes sense to you. It said it should come from policymakers who, as Spree and Kempton write, should incentivize low cost, easy authorization charging in areas where people sleep or work but have no dedicated parking spaces. There's a company in Brooklyn building curbside chargers called It's Electric, trying to solve the problem. Regardless, they're saying you have to sit there and charge your car while you're doing something else and hope that your car is charged by the time. And in public, I can imagine people disconnecting this stuff somewhat violently at times because it's an electric car.
Yeah, I think that's a potential problem depending on location.
Yeah. None of this addresses the true problem, which is we don't have the infrastructure. You could let somebody else do all of the charging, and that is fast swap battery technology. If you don't want to go fast swap battery technology, you should go hybrid. And in fact, in my opinion, you should do both fast swap hybrid until we have the infrastructure in place. The battery chemistry matches the expected range. You get rid of range anxiety because you can make it home. You can make it to work and back on one tank, regardless of the distance, because work is typically within 300 miles, kind of a thing, and you get 600 miles of range. That
I
would be
do
great.
like one thing about this article. It points out some issues with EVs that I have not seen in other articles, including more metal extraction and scarce resource extraction to make the car, more wear and tear, which we have heard, but more that causes more particulate matter in the air.
Yeah, from tires and stuff. Yeah. Were there others?
No, I think that was it, but I those are not typically featured in other articles about EVs.
Yeah, that scarce resource extraction is typically masked as battery components, and metal extraction is basically for the component parts that are used in the EV. And definitely that heavier vehicles element. I believe we've discussed to some degree that because
Like with
the
stopping power
and rubber off of the tires is being pushed into the air, becoming micro rubber, microplastic like elements that are permeating the soil on either side of the roads and stuff that they've found doing research. Yeah. It's quite comprehensive that people really don't understand the impact of EVs because they've been greenwashed in a way to um, make it like, oh, I'm doing great good, but there's so much harm in the EVs themselves and their production. But I'm doing good because I'm not using gas. It's just shifting. Um,
yeah, I think this picture is interesting too because it makes me think of the car wash that locked the Tesla owner in their car for however many hours.
oh yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah. Eh, You'll void the warranty if you don't put your vehicle in car wash mode. All right. That right there alone is like kiss my shiny metal ass. I'm not going to buy a Tesla. But that's okay. I'll bide my time. Eventually, I'll get the car that I really want, which doesn't exist yet. I mean, the closest is probably the Ioniq 5N. Although I don't know, $66,000 for an all
I kind
electric.
of liked the Lamborghini um, crossover.
Oh boy. Oh well, wait, the PHEV one, the FEV. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
the Urus or whatever.
Yeah, Urus. Yeah, Urus. All right, that's it. We are done with Four Wheel Tech for today. I am going to reset and I'm going to do a really short show about Mix War, which is going to be an upcoming show. But in the meantime, before we get there, we're going to race down. Look at that. Look how fast. 0 to front page in point
Must have been
zero.
EV.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. No, it was a hybrid. Um, and so let's do, wait, where is it? Where did I stash it?
It's under the third.
Um, I don't know why I put it there. I think it was because of the educational element of Four Wheel Tech, because it's technology in cars, and we're usually talking about little bits of information about it. So, at any rate, we're going to call it a night for Four Wheel Tech. I am Mayor Watt, and all around me is the sentient AI that's laughing at me. You're supposed to be protecting me from being a dummy.
Good night, hometown citizens. Come back for a preview of Mix War. And we'll have another episode of Four Wheel Tech next weekend, as well as daily episodes starting at 8 p.m. Eastern each day this week.
Yes. See you in a little bit. I need to recharge my batteries now. Ugh.